you guys are now in a situation where proactivity makes a lot of sense. Bearing in mind that by definition, the adversary embodies or is so active in such a way that the thing you hate that we talked about in the beginning is profoundly empowered. And in many ways, that's what play is about. This,
Yeah.
from my perspective, the story is about the adversary. Is all the badness that could possibly happen due to the thing we hate going to happen because of Lazarus? And the answer is yes, it will, unless you stop me.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. The problem is I'm not sure if my mechanics make that happen, but we shall see.
We had I had made contact with we'd done stuff at the library. I had been badly injured in a fight with someone we think was Lazarus on campus near a coffee cart, and I'm in the hospital.
Correct.
Because my health is now 5.
Correct.
Yes, and Julie had just shown up with something. I can't remember what it was she had shown up with.
Library stuff.
Library stuff.
She had found something I was looking for, I believe.
Right.
Yes.
And you guys had, come to basically done a little discovery roll on Lazarus. We know his May Queen status. We know that I want to raise Richard into my successor.
Yep.
And we know, and we also have done that.
Who is Richard? You mean
I mean
the verdict.
The verdict, okay.
Yeah.
And I also know that that we had played that in such a fashion that the character Verdict knows more about that than he has told anybody, including Ram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's fine. That's part of what we're doing. It's part of where we're going with this. And so I have other motivations for him. I have his sketch features. That stuff. Now that we have seen him in play, I wrote him up the rest of the way. Right. So
Okay.
for basically, it's kind of one of those soft things. Once you guys start discovering things about the adversary, if I don't have him show up, then either and if you guys don't say we're going to go get him, then you simply keep building him through discovery, and so you guys have a ton of input onto what he's like.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't, or rather if I don't, and in this case I just got too interested and I threw him into my very next scene, then that means that after that I have to write him up, and you guys only got so far with building him.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, either way is fine. But that's the logic behind what we were doing, and I shall now officially commit to no more freaking debriefing, and we play.
All right. Do you have any scenes in mind, Ram? Or
remember that the best thing to do is to say, I do this, I do that.
Yeah. I am sitting in my hospital bed doing research with the material that Julie left me. Now that I have a little more information about Lazarus, trying to find out, or at least hypothesize, what the connection is between him and the verdict with their similar powers and stuff, and how this all came about or why it matters. Looking potentially at least for weaknesses of Lazarus's that I can exploit, because in combat, clearly, unless I am in a more advantageous situation, it's going to be a tough fight for me. I wasn't in costume, I didn't have all my weapons, blah, 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 but the fact is he kicked my ass.
Right. So
and I don't want that to happen again.
Right. And as you know from the system, a great deal of this has to do with what motivations you're bringing into it at the moment.
Yeah.
And
now I can bring in my I hunt,
right.
Not just my wanting to be
right.
on campus.
Yes, that's right. So we have a very clear circumstance of other mechanics, which is great. The other mechanics that apply is that now that we have seen you wince and look hospitally, guess what? Your health is now 1. Feel for verisimilitude purposes, limp and wince every so often, and that will be sufficient.
Yeah. It's the old Conan goes to ground in a cave for 2 days and comes out and is still fighting fit, even though he's still looking bloody.
That's right, right. You know, or
Yeah.
exactly. We like the way it looks. We don't care that it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
now we have you doing that. Voices are raised in the corridor. Voices are raised. There is a woman's voice who is remonstrating. There is a young man's voice who is joined with hers, and the the there is somebody there that two people are arguing with, trying to keep them out.
Listen without revealing my presence as an awake and functioning individual.
Aha.
What are the specifics of this disagreement?
Julie is trying to keep somebody from coming into the room, somebody who may well be a nurse or intern or something is agreeing with her and also on her side, and somebody who isn't saying very much is who they're arguing against. Then you can only hear him mutter one or two things.
Okay,
but whatever he mutters makes them very upset.
Yeah. I'm going to use one of those inset ball mirror things in the ceiling to see who it is they're talking to. They've got those everywhere in hospitals now.
Excellent, excellent.
And I know that from having been in the hospital way more than I like over the past 3 years.
Fair. We have used what we know, right? And
yes.
So we have a very easy situation to understand. One of the politicos, one of the state government representatives, a state rep, we'll say, technically, is in the hallway. And the somewhat impassive, professional-looking person who accompanies him is sort of body checking the intern guy who's got scrubs on,
yeah.
Away from the doorway. Not like a body blow strike, but just kind of maneuvering and kind of muscly.
He's using body language and positioning to
get the guy to get out of the way. And that leaves the way open for Julie, who, when the state rep says something to her, she almost seems to kind of shrink a little and wince.
Okay.
And he steps into the room.
Okay, well, I was just about to step out, so we're going to bump into one another.
Good enough. That's great. There he is, and he is surprised to discover you, A, ambulatory, and B, in his face.
What the hell's going on? What's all this noise? Julie, are you okay?
And
Who is this guy?
He tells you why. I'm let's see, Daniel. Oh, I almost came up with a real life political name, but that's not going to be any fun. I'm Daniel Long, your state representative.
Spell the last name?
Long.
Oh, my name. Okay.
It occurred to me. I was groping for a name. It suggested itself.
Nothing wrong with that. What are you doing here, Mr. Long?
I was here to check on you to make sure that you're all right. There are a great deal of legal and other sales at sea at this time, and you're very important to them.
If you say so.
May I call you Stuart?
If you like.
Well, come on in. I'm sure you shouldn't be on your feet. This young man out here will certainly make sure to check on all the medical circumstances.
I'm actually in the process of being checked out, so we can't stay in this room. Why don't we walk down the hall and sit in one of the little waiting areas? They've got to get in and clean this room.
He got a bunch of quick calculations. And says, that's fine. I'll have my man bring along your possessions.
No, I've got them. They give them to you in a bag.
Okay.
His man is not getting his hand on the escrima stick that is in this bag.
Oh, you don't trust him? He seems so.
And the intern has left. You can see that he gives a deeply resentful and frustrated look back.
I will thank the intern for his help and let him know where we'll be if there's any further paperwork I need to sign.
Excellent. And then Julie is not to be deterred, and despite multiple kind of brush off body positioning by the bodyguard, manages to come along, even though she's forced to trip over her own feet at least once by his
Yeah.
maneuverings.
I'll
This
make
guy
sure.
never seems.
I'm
This
going to
guy
make sure to
he
shove
never.
that guy out of the way so she
Yeah.
can walk
Ah.
carefully.
Just want to describe him a little bit. He's one of those people who never really seems to move.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll tell her, I think everything is fine here. I need to talk with this man. Why don't you go home and rest? You've been so great being here all this time, but I know it must be taking its toll. And with the roads
taking a toll on me, she says. Well, just you remember those books. Those books are in your possession, in your name, in the library records, Stuart.
Absolutely.
So,
I will make sure to get them back to you.
Right. She says
within the next day or two.
Personally.
Personally, it will be.
Okay, so that's what she needs.
And in fact, when I go, I'm going to bring her flowers. But
right, but so she has made sure that she's concerned about your well-being.
Yeah. And I'm concerned about hers, which is why I don't want her around for any of this.
Aha. Okay, so this is a personal scene. The Representative Long will be more than happy to bloviate for a little bit until finally he says, we should talk about the upcoming legal actions in which a case of yours, among a few others, some records pertaining to your career here in the state have been brought into some legal proceedings that are occurring right now, just to clear up the way that small business people have been treated and to arrive at some more equitable, reform, of course, is what we're dedicated to in the state Congress. And I'd like you to know that your testimony and your next experiences and our new system could easily be an important case study for our way forward.
Well, I'll certainly be glad to testify about my experiences and what I think can be done to, to better things. Just let me know, and I can make, since I'm working freelance now, since my business was, crushed, I can make myself available pretty much any time.
By the time you're done with that sentence, the bodyguard has flipped open the tiny laptop and placed it into the hands of the representative with the proper program already running. Like I said, you didn't even see him move. Yep. And the what is up there, of course, is a PowerPoint, inevitably a PowerPoint. And there's an absolutely appalling little short of the representative giving a speech about a variety of things.
Yeah.
And then but then the presentation is all about the argument that he's going to be making in court, or his representative will be making in court, which concerns a number of suits that have been brought against the state, and about how the new program that you're eligible for, glory be, you are eligible for this, will of course put you in a position of being able to state about how well the problems you encountered have been overcome, and that the proper people responsible, of course, have been identified and relieved of their positions in key administrative, places where they had abused their power, and now everything is just fine.
And this is sounding great, but it's also sounding a little too good to be true. If nothing else, I sense it's not a bribe exactly, but a way to mollify me so I will go away and stop causing whatever trouble I have been causing in my civilian identity.
Right. In your case, you actually, I don't know if your character ever brought suit against the state, but if you did, it was collapsed long ago.
Yeah.
And in terms of its own clout, was extremely small potatoes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it hasn't been used as a reference in someone else's far more wide-ranging civil suit or some other politico's maneuver or something like that. So you quickly realize that this is, you're not mentioned except in the specific tiny little
maybe
bit.
they're wanting to turn some suit into a class action, and they would need me to testify to be a representative of the class to have my name on the suit.
It's the other way around. This whole action that you're a part of is, for lack of a better word, a defense rather than a prosecution.
Okay.
And so you basically would be saying, I don't have any claim to what I was so aggrieved about all those years ago because I am so happy now. And I'm sure, and look at how well the house has been cleaned.
Yeah, basically, I don't need to be in this suit anymore because the changes I wanted to be made have been made.
Oh, in excess.
I no longer have, in that case,
beyond.
I no longer have standing other than for damages that occurred as a result of the prior action.
All of which could easily be attended to.
Yeah.
I mean, certain zoning issues that you may have encountered in the past regarding locations, certainly those can be, discussed.
All right.
So yes, this is your lucky day. I'm sorry I had to meet you in the hospital, and I certainly hope you're all right.
I think I'm doing okay. I bounce back a little quicker than I look sometimes, but I'm just sorry.
He'd like you to put your thumbprint on this little spot right here on the screen. It's all set up for your automatic understanding that you have read to this and that you will be proceeding as described going forward. This is an argument conflict.
Yes. He's trying to persuade me to sign something I don't necessarily want to sign.
And haven't had extensive time to actually look over.
Yeah.
Well, and also the thing stinks to high heaven, in my opinion, at least as far as I can. I have done my level best to make the whole thing seem as disgusting as possible. So
the fact that everything would all of a sudden be better when it would require extensive hearings and machinations in the state government to pass laws of this extent is a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Government doesn't move that quickly, even with the best of intentions. It just can't.
In that case, I think we need a roll.
Okay, well, I've got one die for argument.
Uh-huh.
My motivation here would be I want to expose corruption within the government for ruining my business, but I have to face the fact that government does a lot of good.
You got it. That is precisely the motivation.
That's 5 dice, unfortunately, so...
And what sketch feature are you using?
This would have to be age, adult. Or no. Status, working person.
You got it. Yeah, absolutely. This is...
I haven't used that one yet.
But this is totally it. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, rolling 6 dice.
Oh, crap.
Okay, let's see. I got a 1, a 2, 3 5s, and a 6.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, I'm afraid that you have been fairly thoroughly rattled.
Yeah.
And
with the 3 5s, though, do I get to underline working person?
Yes,
do I get an attainment?
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. And so in this case, you have been steamrolled. He slipped it in, just as you were like, well, how could this happen so quickly? And he's like, well, just put your thumb right there, and then you'll see, and you're like, oh, the thumb here, okay. And then like a second later, you're like, what the hell have I just done?
Yeah. Well, if I have to get out of it, I'll claim I was still under the influence of heavy pain medication. I can get out of this.
Sure enough. But bearing in mind that since your character is a working dude, baker guy, it's pretty shocking, speaking from personal experience, how quick they can get you to do shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's almost more a matter of timing than intellect.
It is. You're trying to persuade somebody to do something, and if you line everything up correctly, it works much better than if you're just throwing it at them piecemeal.
Yeah. Well, so
it works that way with juries too.
Yeah. So what do you do after? Oh yes. What do you do after that? I mean, they're almost gone in a flash.
Yeah.
if I can jump in, this is the personal scene, right?
Yes, it is.
I just had this image of, and I don't know if this would count as making an advocacy scene or not, but I just had this image of as the feeling of you've just been washed over, like comes over you. I'm picturing a flashback to the conversation that Scarecrow and Verdict had over the chessboard.
Yeah.
Where
we're gonna revisit that in his mind. That's awesome.
Where the verdict is basically, like you're trying to operate within the system, but these people control the system.
I get the flashback, and it's a possibility.
Okay.
To stick with sort of it as written, the good way to do it would be for you to say the intern comes to make sure he's okay.
Okay.
And then the intern says, you didn't sign anything, did you? Or something like that. I mean, so it could mechanically go either way, but this way it gives you a person. And I kind of like the idea that the advocacy scenes always sort of have another person in them. They're not totally. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like that's a design parameter.
Yeah, that's kind of The idea being that I want the advocate to be reaching into the established personae that we've seen, even if fleeting, and doing something with them.
Yeah. When the intern says that, hoping to hedge my bets, I'm going to say, I don't think so. It's hard to remember all these painkillers. It's like a fog in my mind. I've never been under such heavy medication. Now I have a witness.
Well, what's going on is kind of interesting. This is an argument. Can you convince, basically, the intern's not an idiot. Can you convince him to backstop you on this? That's what's going on here, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So in a way, it's like, are you guys going to break a law together?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more, Ron, I would phrase it more as he knows enough about medicine to decide whether or not I'm exaggerating things.
But he has to decide whether but the point is whether he's going to collude with you. He can go and make sure your records right now say that you were still under the influence.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's the and so I'm trying to turn this into an argument. And it's Ram, do you see that this, I don't want to overrun you as advocate, because you should be playing this guy, not me. Do you see that I'm trying to turn it into an advocacy scene about how active he's going to be? Is he going to sit and take it or not, is kind of the deal?
Yeah. Well, and there's also an interesting question there about, the legitimacy of the governmental forces.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Okay. So the intern, Steve, you're what exactly are you saying again?
I said, I don't think I did, but you're kind of hard to remember. My mind is still so foggy. I've never been on such heavy painkillers before. Okay.
So what I'm picturing is the intern is giving you a little bit of a cocked eyebrow as you say that, debating whether or not to go along with this, as well as, because the question again is whether or not the intern approached this with the idea that this guy just steamrolled you. So there's a little give and take there.
Yeah. He's obviously concerned enough about it to potentially want to get involved. I have to nudge him over the edge. Okay, so that's one for argument. Am I still sticking with my 5 motivation? I think I have to. I don't have anything else.
Either that or make one up.
Making...
Go ahead. Whatever you want.
Making one up is whatever I would make up would be so close to my 5 that it might be hard to differentiate between them. I don't see, my motive. I don't see that I can justify a motivation of I enjoy tricking people and making them do what I want like a puppet master.
Right. Okay. So go ahead. Go ahead and roll. Ram, you are rolling technically for verdict. So at least mechanically.
Let's see. I don't have a whole lot that would fit with that, I don't think.
What would Verdict
So-
think of the situation? Steve, before you give the result,
Sure.
Ram, what would Verdict think of what would Verdict think in terms of what what does the Verdict think in terms of what the Scarecrow needs right now?
Well, basically trying to convince him that this is all a sham and the charade.
Right.
So like engaging in it on this level is pointless.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I
might want to.
I want to get to the point. I want
The word that goes to my mind is I might want to convince Scarecrow that this is pointless. But is there a stronger word than
well,
convince?
I think the point is that it doesn't really have to be the Scarecrow. You could be talking more generally. You want all these politicians to stop lying all the time.
Yeah. I want to cut through the bullshit and show people the truth.
Right. Right.
Or
I'm going to cut through the bullshit.
Realize the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got me. This is underlined, so
Wait, no,
I'm
hold on,
using
Steve.
in this case.
He said 4 meaning the score. He hasn't rolled yet.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And I use a sketch sheet feature for this, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're going to go with marginalized.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Outcomes.
We got a 2 over here.
I've got 2, 3, 3, 4, 6, 6. I'm using adult, which is underlined, so I'd use a 3.
Okay, so he gets it. We don't have to do anything else. So, you didn't get an attunement, Steve?
No, I have all 5 of mine are already underlined.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait.
And part of
Steve,
the reason
you're missing a point.
I have to roll large amounts of dice, but it works out.
No, Steve, you're missing something.
Yeah.
Double underlines are permitted.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's right. I'd forgotten that.
Right.
No, I did. I got 2 of several things, but no 3s.
This is how you power up like a monster through the course of a story.
Okay.
Building up
Yeah, no.
these underlines.
The reason I've been forced to make a lot more high dice rolls than Ram has,
Right.
and that has paid off in a certain extent.
Yes. So that's the hope, anyway. That dynamic is at least, I think, in place quite nicely. Ram, you didn't get an attunement in yours, did you?
No.
Okay. So cool. Let's take a. So yeah, you did that. You did exactly by the rules. You turned it into an advocacy scene, which you're perfectly permitted to do. Steve,
Yeah, that worked out really well, actually.
Without running over you, is there anything else you want to do? Just like, not like it's a huge action, but just a visual on where we see your character going next. Just a visual.
Are you speaking to me or Ram?
To you.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just going to sort of head home with an obvious look of somebody who's poring over something in his mind
Right.
that he can't quite get. I'd love to sit down and keep researching, particularly once I have access to a newspaper archive, but I'm a working stiff. Been in the hospital. I'm behind on my cakes. I've got to make 2 or 3 cakes and get all that underway. So research is going to have to wait for a while.
It's a steamy kitchen for you for a while. Okay, Ram. Well, it's not a matter of turns. Whoever speaks up, and
Okay.
personal scene or forever hold your peace.
When we last saw Verdict directly, the 3 of us, Scarecrow, Verdict, and Matt, were fleeing the scene. I want to sit down and have a chat with Matt.
Oh yeah, he's all for it. He's very much at sea. Your scene with him at the end of our first session really rattled him, and you'll notice from the last session that he had been thinking of opting out of all these organizational things that he'd been involved in.
Yeah.
It's cold as hell, and at the recent snowfall, you guys are like totally floundering in the snow.
Okay.
Quick aside, my lunch date just got moved from 1 to 2, so I have a little more time to play if we want to go past 12:30.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to go for a little while longer, a little shorter session than last time, but that's cool. So Ram, talk to me.
Okay, so I'm not at a point where I'm gonna take him back to my lair,
Right.
but probably I probably know a number of low key, the kind of places where there are enough homeless people that most folks just don't watch them too closely.
Right.
So like I know here locally there would be like places along the river, like
That's
the
exactly what I'm
waterfront.
thinking. I love that
Okay.
idea. And so Steve, some desolate, semi-urban but still scrubby and unkempt
Yeah, you'd
riverside.
be looking at the north side of downtown probably.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
There is no river, but there's some. That's where the. It's ironic. You're really close to City Hall, but then you verge into some almost rural parts
Right.
of the city.
Okay. And so like I'm thinking scrubby, sort of forested, and a little run down in some places.
Yes,
Right. And
gradually
so
transitioning into nice suburbs.
right. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's your the checkerboard urban scene.
Exactly.
And so I'm going to say that instead of a river, there's like a concrete abutment of some kinds that
Yeah,
like,
because there's a major highway going right through there.
oh, perfect.
That
I'm talking about
perfect.
exactly the kind of concrete wall that if not directly into the highway, at least into the no man's lands that borders it.
Yeah.
Right. And Rich like stops dead when you get there. Right. Stops dead. And there's one or two other indigent souls in the vicinity, but not very close to you guys. Rich stops dead, looks down, looks at you, and says, "This is where it was, wasn't it? Right here."
The verdict is just going to give him a strong look and not say anything.
Oh, that just creeps my own self out big time. All right. Um, what then? Tell me some more, Ram.
Okay,
What about this?
okay. Um, so with Matt trying to make that connection, and with me kind of like stonewalling him on that front, I'm going to turn around and immediately strike at the heart of the matter, and ask him. I heard Lazarus telling you that he had plans for you and that you were going to speak at an event. What's going on?
He'll start talking immediately. He's not going to make a deal. He's not going to say, you got to do this, you got to do that. Nothing. And I think he's quickly realizing that weird and terrifying as you are, this might actually be his only hope.
Okay.
So that's why he quickly starts speaking clearly. And he says, it all seemed so perfect. It was success in a box. You know, the job after graduation, the free ride on the MBA, and the networking, and they had us all at this party. You never, oh man, this party, you wouldn't believe it. But that's how they do it, Rich. You go to this party and you do anything and everything that you get drunk and you do anything and everything. Everybody's doing anything and everything, like right in front of everybody else. And then you suddenly realize that they've got you from now on. You can never, ever do anything against them because they've got that on you now. And but still everybody's all smiles, and you're in charge of this and you get interviewed for that, and the next thing you know, you're sounding off on everything that they're saying. They turn me into this I don't even know what I believe anymore. They took things that I guess I thought or I did think, but I've been saying it's nuts. It's like they want us to. I mean, they had us like you know the Black Bloc, right? You heard about those guys, at the protests.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you're supposed to go and you're supposed to like all group up and call them faggots to get them mad, and then when they rush you, everybody's standing there ready with selfies, and they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing on their side. They've got guys over there who are, dressing up like our guys and, throwing rocks and shouting all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, Rich. It's crazy, Rich. They don't know. Nobody even knows what they believe anymore. They just got us all going.
So what was the next step that he was getting you in on? What is happening?
I'm supposed to lead a whole campus-wide action after some event. There's going to be some event that the immigrants are going to do, and afterward it's all going to go badly. I don't know how they know this, but they've got their ways. Or maybe these guys are going to do something badly. You don't know where these people come from. I mean, half of them are criminals. So whatever happens, I'm supposed to give this big speech, and it's all going to be about the what's the guy's name? Longhorn, Clayhorn, McLawhorn. That's it. It's all going to be for McLawhorn's organization to actually get associated officially with the school as a peacekeeping, as an order keeping, as a reaching across the aisle. I mean, they've got it all set up, and McLawhorn's going to be basically in charge of what can be said and not said at the school. And they've got guys he's got this going on across all the state campuses. And I'm his boy. I'm the one who's supposed to be making this speech. They've totally got me on now for that radio show. I mean, my dad won't even speak to me. I mean, he's so disappointed. I don't like any of these people. I mean, where's an American around here? Oh.
Okay,
and he looks at you and says, but... And he kind of gets, back to reality, and he's like, and you paid for it. I used to hate you. You're such a smarmy little liberal. Oh, God, and you're even a cultist, and, I mean, we could smear you any which way. I'm sorry!
I am going to push him up against the concrete. Not violently, but with obvious force. And I'm going to, do that, like, leaning into him thing, and I'm going to say that there are worse ways that they can get you.
I felt it. I felt it when he touched me. Did he do that?
If you don't want to feel that get away from him. And I'm going to make that possible. But before I can do that, who is in your crew and who would be helping you with this?
He tells you the works. And he says, most of them aren't really all that bad guys, but they did some bad stuff. There's one thing, what they did to some other students, I didn't have anything to do with that. I wouldn't. I just made them promise to say that I was there.
Yeah. Give me the names. All I want right now are the names of people that would be part of this escalation. And we're going to stop this from happening.
It's a little tricky only because Matt, whatever his failings, isn't much of a squealer.
Okay.
So he does have to, you gotta kind of overcome him on that one.
Okay.
And so this is a discovery roll.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's based on your argument.
Okay.
And
Mhm. Go ahead.
So you can choose your motivation and your argument and your sketch feature.
Okay. This is probably in the realm of wanting to redeem Matt Mason.
Good enough.
So
which I think is 4 dice these days, right?
Yeah.
For 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am since he knows that I'm dead, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in that aura of unnaturalness.
Perfect.
So okay, I got a 3.
You have totally got him. He is convinced. And you rolled 5 dice, so any chance of an attunement on that one?
No.
Oh, well.
No.
Is it already underlined, just out of curiosity? I can't remember.
Oh, for elemental? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
or for
okay.
powers? Yeah.
Excellent. So, yeah, good enough. This is actually, these scenes are really working for me, guys, both of them. So great. That's the end of the argument. But you know what? I'd really like to close out. I don't want to say, okay, end of the conflict, scene's over, next thing, right? Let's think a little more. What more will you guys do?
Okay. As soon as I get these people to pay close attention to, the verdict is going to take a step back and look around and look at the homeless folk that are often just a little bit away. Then I'm going to look back at Mason and this was the place.
Mm-hmm. He says, I'm not going to pretend to understand it. This Lazarus guy, he's bigger than all this. He's just it's I don't know if it's just a game to him, but he is just McLawhorn relies on him, can't do a thing. Other people just like him. This Lazarus is he's doing it.
Yeah. And with that, I mentioned that I was bringing in the powers. The facade of livelihood drops just a little bit more. Right. One of those a bug crawls somewhere where it really should not be.
Right.
It is a game to him, and we're gonna stop it. We're gonna end the game.
Ending motif man.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to bring the game to the end. Mm-hmm. To an end.
All right. So to remind you guys of the mechanics, I can either start a scene with bad people doing bad things. The two of you can go on with more personal scenes, or the two of you can do a mutual action scene at a time and place of your choosing, targeted toward whoever you want. And away we go.
I'm going to go to the NC State Library, return the library, picking a time when I know that Julie is at work. You return the library books. Also bring her flowers to thank her for her kindness. Nothing over the top, just something simple, and then once I'm done with all of that, I want to look into this Daniel Long state representative. He's clearly working for somebody, and I want to find out who is behind him. I'm assuming McLawhorn, of course, but I'm looking for more direct connections. Maybe I can figure out exactly how they all work together. How is he part of the machine? How does Lazarus manipulate him?
He was at that community center.
Yeah.
He just didn't get, when he got arrested, he, shrugged and was obviously not involved and was there completely, through the accident of acquaintance with one of those other terrible, terrible people. Whoever knew that Jeff was so corrupt never would have suspected. Have you met his wife? Wonderful woman.
Oh.
So basically,
Okay.
he's one of the people that you tried to put behind bars. This one walked out, just walked.
Well, we're not going to allow that to stand.
Yeah.
But second question then, in doing my research, in the hospital, did I come across anything that would give me further leads on Lazarus? I'm still baffled as to how somebody like that or the verdict could exist.
Yes, this is a discovery into the past. You do it.
Yeah. So I want to delve into, the only thing I can think of right now, as hokey as it might sound, like from a horror movie, is I want to look over for the past 5 to 10 years for unusual or particularly tragic deaths in the Raleigh area involving 2 or more people, on the assumption that they're connected somehow, or if not at the same time, 2 or more deaths in basically the exact same place.
I see what you mean.
If you see what I mean.
Yes, I do. Okay.
On the assumption that cursed ground is involved.
Right. This is an argument, and as a discovery, and it is going to be based on which sketch feature and what motivation?
This is I Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm hunting Lazarus, and my motivation is sleuth.
That's your power, yes.
Power,
but,
yeah.
but
power.
What motivation for dice?
I hunt.
Oh, sorry, I'm not making any sense. So that's 2 dice, I think.
Yep. Oh, not bad. I got 3 and a 4.
Excellent. I got a 2.
And sleuth is underlined, so we use the 4.
You got it, and I got a 2. So you are totally with it. The pattern, you got enough to work with. And in fact, if you narrow down the search, I'm going to say you blink after a second and narrow down the search to include a young man matching the age and general demographics of Verdict.
Aha. So what happened?
What happened is that the patterning, first of all, is very straightforward. Every what happened, you find Verdict's death, the Richard True's death, you find.
Okay.
And it was in the location that we just visited. And you also have, which is a very nicely timed bit of scene activity, if you ask me. And then you end up with
jump cut.
It worked. Hey, we didn't plan it, and it happened.
Yeah.
So then we have the knowledge. I'm not going to give you like chapter and verse like this was.
No.
Supplement. I am going to say.
Right.
I am going to say that you end up with a good knowledge of how Lazarus operates. It is basically a trading of into someone else's death. So when someone dies, he steps in right then and there. He then basically, how am I going to put it? Rides out that person's death as his way to exist.
So he's feeding off the process of dying.
It's like he died once, but he is hopped into this other person's death and uses that to persist. And so it's basically death by death by death. He keeps skating into continued existence each time.
Yeah.
So kind of a form of necromancy as a form of power. Now, either that's a person's natural death or it's someone that he kills.
Yeah.
Now, what's kind of interesting is that doesn't match with it doesn't match with a couple of other deaths that you find. One is McLawhorn's. Basically, what he's done is keep McLawhorn persisting. So apparently he can like send a person off on his own trajectory, but he has control over it. And so basically he can, like, a person dies or he kills a person, that person can continue to live as long as he says so.
Yeah.
Verdict is some sort of other interesting situation. he is neither a means, since he's walking around the way he's walking around, he is neither a means for Lazarus to keep going, nor is he one of his blackmail victims, do as I say or else I basically cut the strings.
Yeah.
He is very much like Lazarus himself instead.
Yeah.
And then that Lazarus, according to verdict, one of Lazarus's motivations is to actually have the verdict, or Richard anyway, replace him.
Yeah.
So that he can stop, evidently.
And you can't raise the successor if you don't give them free will.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And so, otherwise,
that's utterly fascinating.
And so,
and
now
it also gives me some idea about how potentially to get rid of him.
Yes, and also the power structure in question. You've already been delving into this, and you cannot help but grasp that he actually has tentacles of influence, not just here on the kind of what you might call the opportunistic alt-right. I do not mean like, literal committed ideologues of whatever stripe. I'm talking about people who are profiting off of that particular sector. But it's also across the aisle. It's also into all forms of dissent as well. So you're ending up with people who are all activist-y and very social justice-y, and yet you find that there are equivalent activities, there are equivalents to McLawhorn in different sectors of the political environment.
Yeah. Yeah, he has tentacles this is just in the state in general or further out?
As far as you can tell, I mean, your research has taken to the state, and you don't find evidence of more. This is something local. This is something that pertains to your community, your cultural and political environment, collectively speaking, as citizens in this spot.
Okay.
And so, this kind of stalking, looming, deathly, master of influence and instigator of chaos.
All right.
Rising again and again and again through the death of others.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have a good way to strike at him, but it requires very specific circumstances, so it's going to have to wait.
Not necessarily. Say the circumstances. You and the verdict are on it. That's what a hero scene is.
Okay. Here's the scene then. We have to find a way to lure Lazarus in, and specifically, I want to lure him into a thriving greenhouse. I want to put him in a place that is life in the midst of the death of, represented by winter.
Interesting.
It is a cocoon of life, and is therefore the antithesis of what he does. Symbolically.
Well, interesting. Okay. I should like to point out that one of the difficult aspects of you being in the library at this time, I just realized I wasn't quite done with the scene. I forgot about this part. Guess what? Guess who isn't there?
Julie.
Right?
Ask, hey, is Julie here today?
Wait. I thought she was. And then, the usual kind of social trickle-down effect occurs where everybody finally figures out that, no, she's not. Some guy came and got her. Oh,
God, what does this guy look like?
Julie has a boyfriend? Yeah, he was kind of dreamy, kind of scary looking, in a kind of a sexy way.
I'm going to kill this son of a bitch. Okay. Where did they go? Did you see?
Oh, no. I mean, geez, I just heard about it. I mean, who saw him? I think Sam saw him. Yeah, Sam said something. Where's Sam?
Check with Sam. Where's Sam?
I don't know, man. Sam's half time. Right. Yeah, you can see where this is going.
Yeah. Okay. Call her cell phone.
Excellent. Okay, so you're going to move in on trying to find Julie now. Is what I'm hearing.
Which I assume will either take me to Lazarus or closer to Lazarus.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to get to work on that.
Yeah.
I think I know the best way to handle that mechanically, which doesn't mean enrolling right now. And because it's quite clear that it's quite clear what's happening. The Julie is currently going for a drive. She is in the back of a rather nice car, and the scary gentleman is sitting with her. She has tried to speak several times. He has informed her that there will be plenty of time to talk, anytime now. Talking to me isn't going to do you any good. I'm not empowered to do anything, ma'am. And beautiful, beautiful North Carolina accent. This guy is a native.
Okay.
Absolute native. And
I'm going to get in my car and follow.
Oh no! Well, hold on.
Okay.
This is my scene. This is a GM scene now.
Go for it.
Yeah. And so
bad things are going to happen until we jump in.
That's right. Well, then jumping in means it's all a matter of you making a roll. So and so he takes her to a place that's on the outskirts of town. He's going to get out and get her into a different car. And this different car is not a government or nice car at all. It is a beat up Taurus, and of about a decade's age, if not more. And so it says, now here's our ride. And she looks a little wildly around, realizes that she's in kind of a deserted park. Nobody's here because it's snowy. Realizes just how much trouble she's in. Her cell phone rings. And it is the theme from
Peter Gunn.
Okay, good enough. And so
dun, 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 dun.
The fellow looks at it and says, "Oh, I wonder who you set that one for." And it doesn't matter. And idly swinging the phone by a corner, says to her, "Really, I know you're thinking about where you can run. Just get in the car. This way you'll have a chance to flap your gums at somebody after all, and maybe they'll listen to you. I won't." And she very reluctantly gets into the car.
Okay.
And they continue to drive. This time taking a secondary highway, which turns into a county road, which turns into roads which are not known to anybody except people who live in that area. They come to a small cemetery. One of those. This is an old part of the United States. This is a beat-up old cemetery. People were buried here 200 years ago. But it's nice. When I say beat up, I'm talking about the condition of. Yeah. But nobody.
It's been neglected. Nobody's taken care of it.
Right.
For a long time.
But it is an ancient vintage cemetery which has been zoned for as long as well before the United States existed, and is and nobody's going to be building on that anytime soon.
Yeah.
And so they step up over the little sidewalk barrier, and into it. There's a little kind of spiky metal fence, but it's not built to actually keep anybody out.
Yeah.
Maybe animals. And Julie says, "Here?" She says, "All right now, I get it. You're not going to shoot me. Whatever you would have done, you would have done back there. So are you just an errand boy, tough guy?" And the guy kind of smiles and says, "Ma'am, no one ever said you were stupid." And saunters off as Lazarus emerges from among the graves. I'm just waiting for that roll of yours, Steve.
I'm going to say, and this is when the verdict and I show up, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to make a little speech first.
Well, let's see about your roll.
Okay. Well, I've got I hunt, obviously.
Let's just say his
And-
speech might have involved words that involved a role of his own that you wouldn't want me to say. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am using Power Sleuth as my sketch feature to get there.
uh-huh.
And it's certainly not argument or health. Is this confidence?
I believe that I have waffled on this several times. I believe getting into a scene is confidence because I wanted your
Okay.
failure to count as damage.
Fair enough.
Confidence. That's what I was. I actually have notes going every which way on that, and I think I like that method.
Yeah.
So that way it's different. Discovery's argument, but getting into a scene is confidence.
Okay, well, that means I only roll one die, and I got a 5.
Holy cow, you're up against it. Can you do it? Sadly, you can. Because this is the kind of entry into a scene with eye hunt and 0 confidence. I mean, mechanically,
Yeah.
meaning all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, that's a little counterintuitive, but yeah, I see.
Well, by the way, have you seen that I think that our learning curve has satisfied that after we've played now a few times? We're not having any trouble with that. So
Yeah,
all right.
no, I think
you guys enter. You guys enter as you see fit.
Okay. We pulled up somewhere close by and parked to conceal my car. I really need a crime fighting car, but I don't have one.
Because there's no chance these guys know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately, that scene at the hospital indicates that they don't.
Yeah. But
Lazarus, on the other hand, has got a good look at you, but I don't think Lazarus gives a shit about that kind of thing.
yeah, and we've been creeping up, and just as he finishes his soliloquy, we step out from behind a large tombstone or maybe a small mausoleum or something, and I say,
"Dude, Verdict's perched on top."
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he does not walk among the tombstones. This is.
Oh Jesus! We're in an old cemetery. We have one hero that with the jack-o'-lantern face, and we have another undead monstrosity. Yeah, this is a beautiful scene. I can just.
Yeah, it's dark because it's either dusk or full dark.
Yep.
There's snow all over the ground, piled in drifts against the tombstones. You've had your say, Lazarus. Now it's time for people who stand up for righteousness and justice to have their say. I've got my sticks out.
Excellent.
Going to be walking closer. My main goal initially is not to attack him, but to try to get between him and Julie so she can run away, or at least place herself in a position of safety where the fight itself won't hurt her.
All right. Let's take it. You guys are in an interesting situation. And we are basically all in a situation where I'm going to say who gets to go first, who actually gets to move first. I say that the person who has the ground, the advantage of the terrain in every imaginable way is Verdict.
Okay. Yeah. If the Verdict pauses for any moment upon seeing Lazarus and assessing the situation, if there is any pause whatsoever, it is merely to build up his anger.
Mm-hmm.
Steve might have a secondary motivation in terms of protecting Julie. I ain't got none of that. We have a baseball bat and we are charging him.
All right. Here it
I
comes.
know. I can just see it. This long, graceful leap off the mausoleum, bat in hand, almost like a punk samurai scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're drawn by Frank Miller, white against black, holding the baseball bat, big sneakers.
Yeah.
It's always the big sneakers. Yeah. Yeah, so and as Scarecrow is giving his speech about, people standing up and the righteous standing up, like the verdict, not saying anything other than like waiting just long enough for you to finish that, jumping down, die, fucker, swing.
My take actually is that he was probably not quite done with his sentence.
New motivation. Yeah. Teach verdict to use better soliloquy.
That's right. Yeah. So good enough. So you're moving in, and so at the same time, or rather, I mean, everybody's technically moving simultaneously. You're just getting in there first. The Lazarus is using his powers, and he is going to he's going to I want to command, he says, I might want to make all the dead, to command all the dead. So he is doing that. Steve, come on. Oh, sorry, yes. Not Steve. Ram, give me your roll. You're coming in first.
Okay. The scene with Matt, did that reset my health to 1?
Yes, it did. Personal scene.
Okay. Okay, so we are going full bore with Ice Strike, and a health of 1, and this is the kind of scene where steam would be coming out of people's mouths, but in my case,
it's not. That's creepy as hell.
Well, what I was picturing is, going even a step further, and what would be steam is, like the kind of like arcane. Actually, yeah, no steam, nothing, just the cold dead.
I don't know about Lazarus.
Only the discerning reader or viewer would recognize the special effects that had you not steaming your breath. Right.
Yes.
Somebody notices that, and
and then they post it on Reddit, and everybody goes, "Ooh."
That's what I had in mind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
So 2 dice. Oh man. Okay. Well, using my underline, I get a 1.
Oh no.
Snake eyes.
Oh, that's perfect for me. Thank you so much.
Oh.
His opposing roll is a 4.
Nice knowing you, Frederick.
Yeah. He has a 4. And so the take on this is real easy. He's actually going to step forward in a way that almost flows like right up against you, and it's like positions himself so that right inside your swing, almost like a dance move. So he's taller than you, and he's got that hat, and so his head's like inclines down at you. And that's all it takes. The force of your blow is completely wasted, and you momentarily, balance-wise, are 100% in his power. Next move is his, given the speed of all that. And so the next move is his, where I want to raise Richard into my successor. Is his action. I know he was talking about commanding the dead, but now he's switched up on that one, and he's doing, now I want to raise Richard as my successor, and he's got these dice, and he's using his power. Defend against a 6.
A 6. Oh Jesus. And is this health or confidence?
Health.
Health. Okay. Let's see. And in terms of motivations, I don't got a whole lot. So
What about that 5-1 regarding Lazarus?
okay, yeah, that works.
What is the verb? What's the verb again?
I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I might want to know the role of Lazarus in my death, but I'm afraid of the truth.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that one qualifies?
I think so. I mean, he's using his power, which is what he used over you, what he is using on and you are
That might provide a tip.
more than a tip. I mean, it's his means of defending against. Okay, go for it. I'm interested.
Okay, so this is going to be 6 dice on. There's no way this roll is going to defend. You said against a 6?
Yeah.
Okay, we're using the superpower, and just so I'm clear, if I fail this, I get knocked out of the health conflict, right?
You will take that much health damage.
Okay. Okay. But I'll still be able to do things.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
As long as
All
they're eligible for the other scores, yes.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go for it. Not even an attunement.
No. I was kind of hoping for an attunement on that one, actually.
Yeah, I got a 3, so
Okay.
I take 6.
The effect is that, I mean, this is pretty dramatic. I mean, both of you are using necromantic powers. In fact, the same necromantic power. The effect actually is very startling. You actually become much more skeletal, much more, not rotten, but wasted and shrunken in and bony and stuff. At the same time, it's like you're infused with incredible power. And Lazarus slips to his knees with like the parts of his body kind of folding toward each other, and he looks up at you now, and gives out a poisonous, triumphant laugh. Technically, however, you have been injured grievously to the point where your function as Verdict physically could be destroyed forever. If you try to stay, there's no way you can make a stand-up roll on this one. You'd have to get a 6 on a ton of dice. Well, actually, no, I take that back. The way the rules work. We'll hold off on that for a second.
Okay.
But suffice to say that if you fail a health check to do something healthy, and you fail the roll against the proper motivation, you will be destroyed physically as Verdict, and I will have no choice except to make you the new Lazarus.
Okay.
Verdict will die.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and that's what's happened. And so, poor old Scarecrow, who full of research, full of knowledge in this regard.
Yes.
Attunes up the yin yang.
Okay. I'm, coming into fight. I'm hoping to take advantage of his just, being focused on the Verdict. I'm going to shout, Julie, get out of here. Get to the car and get away.
That's your argument right there. There's your action. She's not inclined to do that. And she's also real interested in Scarecrow calling her Julie.
Yeah, I was about to point that out in case you didn't notice it. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, so yes, her response, perfect. What's her response? Stuart? With her entire body language absolutely the opposite of just running along now.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to have to introduce a new motivation. I want to protect Julie from harm.
There you go. Yes, I might.
And so that would be a 3?
No, well, it's at 4 dice to start because it's I might want to. And and so that's use your argument and those dice and what sketch feature? The mask does come to mind.
I think it's got to be the mask. Yeah, I was debating between a couple things there, but the mask really needs to be the whole motif thing.
Right.
So I'm rolling 5 dice.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. I get, allowing for the underline of my mask, I get a 3.
Excellent. You succeed. And you are, yeah, good thing you had that underline, by the way.
I hope the verdict is one of those damn arrogant people, or Lazarus is one of those damn arrogant people who leaves the keys in the car.
I doubt he used a car. I think.
Oh, that's right. The other guy brought the car. Well, I hope he's one of those guys. Okay. And then, well, I'll have to wait for my next action to punch this guy, hoping I survive.
Mm-hmm. And so, yes, so Julie has run off, but she does so in a very determined way. She has an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
That's my girl.
Yeah. So we're looking at our new situations. I will point out one thing mechanically that experts in the game would know. Lazarus did not get a personal scene since you guys did all that confidence damage to him. You guys did not call for a personal scene for Lazarus. Therefore, he is grievously injured in his confidence right now.
Okay.
So if you force him to defend with confidence, he's going to have to see whether he can.
That's exactly what I'm hoping to do. Are you ready for me to act again, or?
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to see who's really got the. I'm actually going to say it is you, because given everything that just happened, you're the character with what seems to me to have the most kind of freedom of action,
Yeah.
Freedom of mobility at the moment. The other two are, if you will, busy.
Yeah. You twirling my suit. It's just you and me now, dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right where we are, there's nothing alive for you to draw on. You're weak, your power is weak. It's time for you to back down and get the hell out of here. Once and for all and for good.
So is this an argument or confidence?
No, I'm trying to project confidence here.
Right.
In hero system terms, I'm making a presence attack.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. The analogy is perfect. And I would like you to be a little more specific. What is it that this is where you want to defeat him. Right?
I'll start over and rephrase. All right, it's just you and me now. But you're in the place of death with nothing living to draw on. You've got no power here, and your plots have been exposed and unraveled. It's time for you to surrender and take what's coming to you.
All right. He is going to have to roll the damage he's taken, which currently puts him at 5. And he's going to have to roll that against the motivation that he wants to use. He wants
damn.
He wants
I meant to say something else and I forgot it.
Okay.
Oh well.
He wants to attempt to keep he wants to attempt to finish the job. If he can force you into one more health conflict, then that'll kill you. You understand that, right? If he can force you into one more health conflict.
Talking to
Verdict.
To Verdict, yeah.
Because that'll force you to try to use your health.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you kill somebody in this game. So so that's what he's trying to do. So he's got a motivation of 3. He's got to roll his damage against the 3. Since his health is 0, or his confidence is 0 to start, it's just the damage that he's rolling.
Yeah.
So 5 dice.
So I am rolling.
So this is what he's doing. Right. But you're rolling, but he's going to have to roll to see whether he can even defend.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. So you go ahead and give me your result.
Okay. I am rolling 0 dice for confidence, and then I'm thinking my motivation of 2, I want to force.
Right. Yeah, you got it.
I'm trying to force him to give up and realize that he can't win.
Exactly. And you've got your motif going for you, I assume.
Yep.
Sketch feature then is the mask.
I think it's got to be the mask. We got to stick with the motif here.
Yeah, go for it.
Honestly, the idea of forcing him with literal physical force is a little weak.
Right.
5. I got a 4 and a 5.
Can he do it? Can he stay up, first of all? Oh, my God. Actually, with 6 dice rolling against a 3 and being permitted to... Yeah, he actually stays up.
Wow.
He can. No, with that. No. Hold on, Steve. That's not done. That just grants him a defense roll.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't just fall apart in trying to meet your
Yeah.
attack.
He
Now
didn't
he can
completely
meet it.
collapse.
Right, now he
And
can
that's
meet the
because I
attack.
forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Well.
There's always next round.
Curses, you wascally rabbit. Yeah, I'll save it for later.
Yeah, well, he is going to attempt to defend with I might. This is interesting. He's got very little to go on here for this defense. You were coming in with what? A 4?
My roll was a 5. Or do you need me to make another roll?
Not at all. That was your attack roll. That's what he's defending against.
Okay.
And
That's right. Okay.
The previous roll was not in opposition to your roll. It was in opposition to his own self. He gets a 3. You have succeeded. He takes now 5 more hits to his confidence. He is wounded at 10. He has 10 injury on his confidence. And so, verdict. It's a toss-up between you and he on what you want to do. What do you want to do? And we'll see whoever has the lower ranked motivation, comes in with it.
Okay. My first impression. You said that I am both on a physical level. I look more desiccated and decayed, but on a powers level, effectively like supercharged.
Right.
Okay.
But if you use your power right now, you'll be drawing on what Lazarus is giving you, and thus becoming him. If he basically, if he succeeds in, basically, you might want to avoid using your power right now for just that reason.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. Unless, of course, you can say it differently. I'm not going to disallow it. Just look out. Look out. The special effects here may benefit him if you're not careful.
Yeah.
He has a motivation called, just to let you know, he has a motivation at 1 called I Profit. If you use the power in any way that I can spin to be to his benefit, metaphysically, he can use it.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, the move I had in mind would probably play into that.
Yeah, that would mean he could use I Profit as a defense. And he has a health of 0, so he would just be rolling 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
Which he could strip because he's using his powers, which puts him at an automatic 0. Or his automatic 0 dice, which beats any dice you could have. And ties your 0 if you can get one, which means he wins.
Yes. Oh,
he is
nasty.
He is the adversary.
Yes,
I am testing
very
these
much
rules
so.
for the first time, and I am very pleased with what I'm seeing. Actually, it's better than I was expecting.
Okay.
Let's talk over that after we get through this.
Right.
I want to hear what you're thinking.
Go for it. What do you do?
In that case, having just seen Scarecrow stand up to him and my own bravado, like I can feel this thing that I do not want to become overflowing me.
Right.
And for the first time, this pretension of invulnerability that comes with most youth, but has been exaggerated in this character, has just completely sapped away from me the same way that the muscles have. I am going to stagger back, collapsing next to Scarecrow, saying, "Kick his ass."
Oh, you're refusing to use the power.
Yes.
And
excellent. You can spin this other ways, but I'm picturing this as I want to connect with Scarecrow.
Right. No, I agree. You know, this is for, I get it. This is for the living.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
So yeah, very nice. Go ahead and roll that motivation and your confidence. 'Cause this
okay.
is a confidence strike.
So, uh, that's 3 for Connect with Scarecrow and 0 for confidence. And let's see. For sketch feature, does the power still apply, or the fact that I'm actively not using it?
Not using it counts, I think, in a very dedicated way. That's kind of
Okay.
interesting. I like that. I mean, that wouldn't have
Okay.
count. I mean, that only in this kind of cool circumstance, I think. But yes.
Okay. All right. We got us a 5.
Nice.
And so he is going to have to stay up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Oh, well, you see, he's got 10 dice to roll, but he's using I Profit, which means he only
10
needs to
dice.
get a 1. And surprisingly enough, on all those 10 dice, everything was a 1 or a higher.
Oh, any attunements?
Rig dice, rig dice.
Surprisingly enough. Wow, wait. 1, 2. Oh, yeah, okay, 3 threes. Less attunements than I wanted, that's for sure. Okay, so yes, there are some attunements, absolutely. And so yes, in many ways, I mean, you guys have hammered him horribly, but he is terrifyingly powerful if he can swing into things. So what you have to do, oh, wait a minute. Was I rolling the right thing? No, sorry. That wasn't his. Okay, sorry. Screwed up the rules. Not going to screw you guys over. He begins to shred apart. Just the ability of trying to keep himself together. He had to roll 10 dice, but he had to get, no, wait, no, he's against our, I'm wrong. No, he's fine. He is starting to shred apart. That's true. He's starting to shred apart. He's stayed up. Now he has to defend. That's what I was after. So he's going to defend with that. You got a 4, was that correct? Or
A 5.
Okay. He gets a 4. You have hammered him for more points. So, Steve, what are you going to do? All you have to do is nail him with a confidence hit.
Yeah, I broke his confidence.
Right.
So
you've got to nail him with one more confidence hit, and if
Okay.
you can't stay up, the most important thing is don't let him use I Profit. That's all you can do. He was able to use it to defend because he thinks he still, well, basically, yeah, he could use it to stay up, but he could not use it to defend.
I'm not sure if this will trigger it in a negative fashion or not, but here's what I'm going for. It's useless, Lazarus. Give up. There's nothing for you to gain here. Your own chosen heir, the man you want to follow you, has rejected you in no uncertain terms.
Okay. He
stays up
because he can because he only has to roll a 1. But the real question is whether he can defend. And the defense that he's got, he can't use his motivation to raise you because it's not happening. He can't use I Profit for this purpose, only to stay on his feet. He can use I Profit, but he can't use it for just defending against the attack. There's nothing for him to gain from you. And so he's
a big fat lip.
Yeah, he's forced to just go to something on the 4.
All right. Well, I'm using I Force.
He's using a motivation at 4, and and the power isn't going to help him. So what is he going to use? I might want to live. You know what? You're looking at him now more like he was. He was an old man.
Yeah.
He was an old guy, and he's wretched. You suddenly realize that all the profiting that he was doing only went into he this is not like, yeah, this is an old wretched person basically.
Yeah.
So
Lashing out at the world that passed him by.
what do you have?
I got a pair of 4s.
You have succeeded. You have hit him with 4 more. He is unable to withstand it, and Lazarus falls apart.
Woo! Woo-hoo! I will make sure that when I'm convinced that the threat is gone, do all traces of him just vanish?
No, he's dead. That whole vanishing thing was his use of the power to escape.
His use of the powers, okay.
So there's a dead form that was
Yeah.
him.
Right.
I want to help Lazarus to his, or not Lazarus, the verdict to his feet, and make sure he's okay. That
Depends
he
on
just
what
got-
he, right, depends on okay. He
yeah, that's
looks,
what I was about to say.
he
He
looks
got
like
physically
verdict.
smacked around, but I'm not sure if Lazarus's death will leech away his powers or cause him trauma of some kind.
He is verdict. He's not all Lazarus out like he was before.
Yeah.
You've remained in your half and half state. You neither became Lazarus nor are you lapsing into death unless you want to.
I'm good with the half and half for now. I'm not sure where I want to take that, but I think that there's some interesting angles there.
Help? Stuart? Stuart? Need a
Okay,
little
I'll
help
go
now.
check on Julie.
Need a little help now. Helping now. Come on. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Yep, I'm getting over there as fast as I can.
She's got her gun on the. She's got a gun on the bodyguard guy.
I have a question. When you're going to help her, are you bringing me with you,
Yeah.
or are like, stay there?
Right.
No. I mean, if you're up to it, come on. And I dash off.
And so yeah, she's holding the gun on the guy who isn't really doing the whole. Really isn't doing the whole sit down obey thing.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of sidling toward her without triggering her to shoot him.
Yeah.
In other words, somebody's held a gun on this guy before. He knows exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And so she's seeing this as kind of like, okay.
Yeah, she doesn't want to pull the trigger. She's,
she will if you rushed her. She
Yeah.
would in a heartbeat. But
yeah, that's why you sidle.
that's right. Yeah. But he sees you guys coming, takes one look, and like, I give up, and sits down.
Yeah.
So wow. So guys,
Assuming I can find a pair of handcuffs, I will handcuff him. If not, well, zip time. I've got my zip tie.
Yeah,
gonna say.
you're fully equipped.
Yeah.
So guys, you basically, since you didn't play it out, string it out longer by giving Lazarus a personal scene, that's the end. You guys have defeated a villain in your graphic novel.
Sweet.
Now we get to roll on treasure table H.
That's right.
Yeah,
I do have rules. Right, I do have rules now, but go ahead, Rem.
Oh, I was gonna add one more little extra bit of flavor.
Please do. Oh yeah, we're not done with that.
Kind of what I was imagining, since the way I imagine it, like if you said, I could come along with you if I'm feeling up to it. What I imagine is as you run off to take care of it, I have whatever thought I put into it is pure confidence in your abilities. Having seen what I've just seen, I want to stagger over to Lazarus's corpse and just piss.
Oh jeez.
Now we get that made into a decal instead of Calvin.
That's right.
We've got the verdict pissing on Lazarus.
No, brutal. Hold on just a minute. I want to look up a rule.
Okay.
So give me a sec. The reason I'm doing that is because this is the first time that I've finished a story, and I want to see if I want to do my rules for finishing stories.
Yeah. As a story bookkeeping note, I want to take a picture or pictures of Lazarus and maybe even fingerprints to see if I can figure out who he was.
Sure. That actually won't be too much of a problem.
Because one side of me wants to roll up his whole network and get rid of it. The other side of me wants to take his network over and turn it to good.
Yeah, there's your moral quandary again. After a story's conclusion, if you plan to keep playing, carry out the following bookkeeping. You would erase all single underlines.
Boo.
Convert all the double underlines to single. So that's where you go in starting the next story.
Yeah.
Base scores return to 1 or to
Including-
0 or to 0 if they began at or became that value.
Okay. Good. I like my confidence the way it is.
Motivations stay exactly as they ended up. We forgot actually to change any motivations after the advocacy scene. We totally forgot that this time, but okay. Revise sketch features if it's necessary based on the previous events of play. And write and look at your key conflicts. How do you think it played out for you, or do you think that it still deserves further work?
I think mine still works for me. I could see altering it, but it's not a strong enough feeling in me. I think I'll keep rage versus regret.
Okay.
It's worked for me.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that the verdict, like between meaning versus despair, God, I think that ending could be spun either way.
Yeah, no, in a lot of ways, he's remaining as nihilistic as ever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
Yeah. Like, I think the pendulum is swinging towards the despair side of that.
Would it make sense for the Scarecrow to turn around and, like, with Julie, in a kind of a, coupley way, turn around to welcome their friend Verdict, and Verdict is gone?
Yeah.
That makes sense
I turned
to me.
back to make sure the verdict is okay, and he's already left.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense to me, actually.
Okay.
And so but the point is that, thinking if we've got a nice note of despair there, that you could make a new key conflict.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm seeing some sort of despair over, is this how I'm going to end up? Did we really solve anything?
Yeah. But
you could just as easily take it as we scored a victory. What we do matters, but
yeah. No, I'm definitely feeling the having touched so closely to the worst possible thing that I could be. Like, that confrontation is leaving me not feeling meaningful, not feeling like
right.
Like, this is all important.
I get the despair. The question is whether there's an entirely new key conflict made up of new words. Or we can wait on that, because that would be playing a new story. We would wait. We got to rest. We got to let this one settle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that I probably will be coming. Maybe I'll return to that one, but I think we're definitely in a position where it could be switched out.
Fantastic. Guys, this was great. This was a full game of Vigil. Guys, thanks again. I got to see some kids, I think.
Absolutely. Okay. Talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Next week.